Oh, that's like 3 weeks or so for.
Yes. Um, you're calling regarding Mohammed, or you just calling to talk to Samantha about Mohammed, or what is it about?
Well, it would be HIPAA law and why the nonprofit was ever directed to help in a case if it wasn't asked originally.
Yeah, so you would have to call when she's back. It will, the first week of June.
Even if the case has already gone to court,
So you're cutting after. I can't really hear you.
even if the course it's already gone to the court, the court, the Bernalillo
If
courts.
what I could do is get your information, and then as soon as my supervisor's here, she could address it.
Well, that's the thing, is how did you guys get any contact to help with my case if I can't find who would have made the request in the first place? If that supervisor isn't available and that in person is giving diagnoses of a situation, like that makes it more complicated.
If you want to give me your information, I can give your information to the CEO.
The CEO?
Yes.
Who would that be?
No, she is not in this one.
Oh, is that
What is the date
Samantha?
of birth?
Is that Samantha?
No, Samantha is the medical director.
Oh, wow, okay.
Linda will be the CEO.
I appreciate that. I apologize. It is nice that you guys help out in the community, but if there are certain mistakes by trying to reach out for help but not finding anybody offering that help, when a situation is that you guys are assigned to different cases, is that the possibility? Like sometimes you guys are assigned by court to cases.
We sometimes, yes, they have to come. We have to have a referral.
Yeah.
Yes.
Adult Protective Services. Do you work with that organization too? Because I tried to make contact with them multiple times, and it was supposed to be, I thought, that they would get back to in some form or fashion. But I've been isolated by my father and maybe other family members from being able to report cases for underage kids for the last few decades. These cases weren't getting any kind of attention. And then all of a sudden, before lockdown, these types of things, I guess, came up more. But if your organization has been in running for decades, the possibility that the older cases might have already come through your doorways, like in over people's desks, and even when those cases were coming up as a class action suit for 350 victims to actually go to court during lockdown, did any of those cases come across your desk in the last 5 years to be added to the 394 cases that they ended up with? Because they had these payouts of like 250 million and 150 million. So any kind of like added like boost to ask for help. They have these things with the police department and the sheriffs, I think, to ask extra help on movie sets. It's called the overtime chief. So like even if that existed for certain nonprofits to say a civilian's family's cases needed the extra help, that maybe head damage was part of the case's history, that all of the diagnoses and stuff that you guys would be able to do with all of the records that were needed to get in the first place for underage kids cases, it would help to get the better medication first rather than something that might cause heart complications at a late form in life. For other cases, it might work if it was like bipolar schizophrenia. But if it was trying to report accurately children's cases around churches, community centers, or public school kidnappings, those types of underage kid cases where kids didn't know how to read or write, that's the type of cases that my family had to deal with. But luckily, you guys came by my home a few different times with the First Nations to try to help out maybe. I don't know how you guys started to help in the first place, if that was by calling 911 and then getting charges pressed against me for calling 911 to report kids' cases. So I don't know if you as a person kind of understand that it's hard to explain, but I do appreciate that you guys might have like specialists and stuff like that, but you might have like a listing of like hundreds of different phone numbers. If you're just one nonprofit in the state of New Mexico, it might be that there's tons of different like counties that you guys are looking out after, and you deal with like a lot of homeless people, so you have a lot of people that specialize in people that are talking about like alien abduction or delusions of grandeur that apply to certain conditions like schizophrenia or narcissistic or sociopathic or any of those types of terms and stuff like that. I apologize that you guys are in a lot of like harm's way with like a lot of like extreme cases too. But with the police department, trying to get them to help with police reports if the schools are involved already, from like a knife incident, a little kid drawing a knife on another kid, and the principal reports that. So that might be a record, like the prosecutor's office might actually get access to. But if they don't share that with the family, and they're having to get a defense lawyer or something, you guys might have access to finding who that lawyer was.
Like I said, I am just front desk. I will pass along your information to you and people get a hold of you, okay?
In June, that's kind of depressing.
No, the CEO will be different. Samantha Madrid won't be back until June, but I'll turn it into the CEO.
But you guys,
she is in office, but she's in meetings right now, so I can't.
That's cool.
But as soon as she's done, I will give her your information, and then she'll give you a call back, okay?
You're awesome, because you guys might take on 1,000 different types of cases, and if it falls under your guys' type of thing for these like old school cases, I do appreciate that you guys are trying to get the right types of medication to the right types of people that need it. My older sister might be in harm's way because they haven't been applying any of the reports that were needed for our juvenile cases. But now as an adult, being able to put anything together, I'm trying to articulate everything. So I really appreciate the what you guys have done in the field. You've been able to actually go out to the location that I'm at. I've been kind of isolated through lockdown. So I want to say like gold stars for like everything. It's just our case needs a little bit extra like precaution before taking a drug that might not be kosher, with my heart problems already, with my head damage, if my head doesn't pump right, you know. It's kind of difficult to kind of argue. I've been trying to get help with getting my head scanning approved by my doctor, but it was needing the police department to back up the reports from the public school, and getting the public school to say they knew my head was cracked open on the playground, and they dragged me to the nurse's office. So just the simplest part of it dragged out for 5 years trying to find help. And if you guys are trying to like just label it as bipolar schizophrenia, there's my older sister as a better example of what you would textbook say is bipolar. But for my situation, I'm just having different issues with post-traumatic stress disorder. And if anything kind of looks like other stuff, then I need just that help to get the, I don't know, it's the makeover or something like that, that rehab is, that people go through. My mom and my dad might need some rehab. It's like mediation and accountability and advocacy, that advocacy stuff. So like if all of these victims get to like pay it forward to you guys. If you guys need like extra like help for like security reasons, or you want vacations or stuff like that, it would be really awesome to kind of like say that kind of appreciation, like a discount to Disneyland once a month trips for different people. If you guys have been going for so long and taking on stress every single day, like a bunch of other people out there, like the fire department or the police department, they all might be applicable, because as a big group, Disney like might want to give a discount if that group goes like in groups of like 20 or something once a month, and in like different times of the year. But there's millions of dollars with all of these kid cases that were coming forward, and if there was a way to kind of like use them rather than like hide them, because apparently they're sealed and stuff like that. But apparently when I've been reaching out for help for the last few years, I've been kind of giving up my anonymity for all of these law firms that I've been cold calling, and then I put it to the Facebook and started direct messages. So then if I can copy and paste those direct messages and just post them in public, so at least I don't forget about them, because I might have head injuries and forget about all the work that I did reaching out to try to find help reporting these cases, because I can't write. You know, how do you report a kid's case? Like by asking like nonprofits, if you even deal with any of these types of cases in communities, you might deal with people with mental disorders or homelessness. So I really appreciate that you take on a lot of things, even as like an administrative assistant. If it's just the front desk or whatever, it might not be recorded or something like that. So I do appreciate that this has all been really hard to think that maybe it's not being heard the entire time because the cell phone might break up and stuff like that. But if there was a lack of me not giving my phone number, it's just precaution, because it might not make it through. And I don't know a better way, if maybe an email along with it, because if I don't get contact from the phone, it's not your guys' fault. It's maybe the signal not getting to the smartphone, and the landline isn't able to get fixed because there's so much garbage. And that was really stupid, but maybe you guys do have like a garbage contingency, somebody that helps get the like a big garbage container to recycle all the aluminum to save money and get that to the, you know, the aluminum recycling thing, because that's like a good like takeout meal or whatever. But some of the boxes can't go in the recycling, so they have to go to the trash. But just being able to get that organized and stuff at home. My dad's like falling apart, but he's saying that he's going to start like the water therapy. Like it's supposed to be like low impact, so he could lose some weight and start like carrying his own weight, because he's been overweight. And my mom, her head injury, it made my dad find her, and they took her to the hospital. They couldn't do any surgery on her skull, so they had to monitor her skull. But they could put a bolt screws and stuff in a metal plate in her arm, because she had broken her arm when she fell. But she didn't remember how she had hurt herself. But my dad was dropped out of film class, so he visited her at her apartment, and he found her, so he got her to the hospital. So then she started seeing a doctor, but that doctor had to leave and go practice up in New England. But they might have moved their practice back here to New Mexico. So it's kind of like overstepping, because it wasn't assigned by like my cases ever coming up. But my mom invited me to her head injury class, and then they gave me an opportunity to stand up and tell things I remember from my little childhood or whatever. But I didn't apply anything until figuring out the injury at the community center. It was therapy that went through social security applications, doing everything with the post-traumatic stress disorder, from GameStop, getting kidnapped and robbed, It went straight to if I had post-traumatic stress disorder as a civilian. We only were recently in the 2000s learning about it from people coming back from the war for the weapons of mass destruction after 9/11. So I couldn't sign up for the military twice in high school when I tried with the recruiters because I got to the computer test and they were finding that I wasn't able to finish the computer test. And I didn't realize that that was one of the things maybe that my cognitive skills aren't keeping up proper, and I never was getting the special education from first grade all the way to 12th grade. And there might be records showing all these different things, but it's now in hindsight because of lockdown, because it was just being found out about right before everybody got shut in. So I haven't been going outside since like February to August of 2020, and then you guys are stopping by and you have no masks on, and then I'm worried if it's HIPAA law, if somebody told you details about my condition, that I didn't reach out to you guys. But I really appreciate that you guys are trying to help. It's just like, when do I get to ask, are you guys like helping?
Okay, hello?
Yes.
Okay. I already have found someone that is going to help you. Let me transfer you that way, okay?
I love you. You are super awesome. I meant that like, you're
no
awesome.
problem.
Sorry, thank you. Thank you.
Uh-huh. Thank you for calling First Nation. Can you please hold?
Yes, I can.
Thank you. sorry. Thank you for holding.
You're
How
okay.
can I help you?
I was transferred from trying to call. They said it was Samantha was on
I'm
leave.
I'm I'm having a hard time.
Are you there? Hello?